Hello and welcome to the Myschool channel. My name is Angela, and in this video we are going to be tackling the JAMB past question for English language for the year 2024. Please stay with us, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Myschool channel. Like I said earlier, we're going to be focusing on the JAMB past question for English language for the year 2024. So in this video, we're going to be treating questions 51 to 75. Let's begin with question 51. Choose the option that best completes the sentence. But for the timely intervention of the police, the thief dashed by the angry mob. A will be lynched, B would have been lynched, C would be lynched, and D will have been lynched. The answer to this question is option B, would have been lynched, because this particular sentence is a conditional statement. It's expressing a hypothetical situation, something that could have happened if things would have gone in a different direction. So in this case, if the police had not intervened, so this thief could have been lynched by the angry mob. So all of this express that this is a particular situation that would have happened if things went in a different direction. So for the third conditional, or for the past perfect conditional, you make use of the construction would plus have plus the past participle. So that's the reason why we're choosing option B and not option D. You do not use will have been lynched. Will have been lynched will be used when you're talking about the future perfect tense. But in this case, we're talking about a hypothetical situation. So would have been lynched is the answer to this question. Question 52. My father loves bringing dash old memories. Option A in, option B down, option C up, and option D over. So the answer to this question is option C up. So bringing up is a phrasal verb that is used to refer to mentioning or recalling something in order to introduce a new subject matter. So in this case, my father loves bringing up, introducing old memories in order to, have that as a topic of conversation. So that's the appropriate phrasal verb to use in this case. To bring in something means to take in something. Maybe when your clothes is dry, you bring it in. So that's when you make use of that phrasal verb, to bring in. Then to bring down something means to denigrate somebody, to bring someone down to a particular level. So in, down, they are not the phrasal verbs to use in this particular context. The answer to this question is option C, up. Question 53. Women always dash themselves in beautiful apparel. Option A, adorn, option B, mar, option C, trim, and option D, garnish. So the answer to this question is option A, adorn. The proper word to use to talk about adding accessories or other things in order to beautify oneself is adorn. We do not use garnish. You use garnish when you are talking about adding something to a particular food in order to make it look good. That's when you make use of the word garnish. But in this particular context, adorn is the best option to fill in that gap. So option A, adorn, is the answer to this question. Question 54. The movie wasn't fantastic, was it? Dash. Option A, yes, it wasn't. Option B, no, it wasn't. Option C, yes, it was. And option D, no, it was. The answer to this question is option B, no, it wasn't. So the main function of question tag is to elicit agreement from the listener. So you want to make sure the listener agrees with what you're saying. That's the reason why a question tag is used. So the response from the listener should be one of agreement with the speaker. So the speaker believes that the movie wasn't fantastic, so the person has to agree that no, it wasn't. So no, it wasn't should be what should fill in that gap. Option B is the answer to this question. Question 55. My uncle is not sure dash the strange guests were. Option A, which, option B, who, option C, whom, and option D, what. So the answer to this question is option B, who. Who is used when you are referring to a person or a group of people. So you make use of who. You make use of which or what when you are talking about things and not people. So you do not make use of whom in this particular context, because you make use of whom when you are referring to the object, the victim of a particular action. But this time around, we are talking about the subject of the conversation. Who the strange guests were would be the best way to express the same things. You make use of the subject relative pronoun in this particular case and not the object. You make use of the object when you are talking about the victim of a particular action. So option B, who, is the answer to this question. Question 56. Everyone in class wanted the literature teacher to dash the point of view of the dash. Option A, expatiate and playwriter. Option B, expatiate, playwright. Option C, expatiate, playwright. Option D, expatiate and playwright. So you can see they are all different spellings of two different words. So the option that fills in these two gaps is option C, expatiate and playwright. This is the correct spelling of the word expatiate, because word expatiate is gotten from the root word expand, to expand. So some people feel like the N should be part of the spelling, but this is not the case. You do not add the N to the word expatiate. Then playwright is spelled this way, playwright. It's not a playwrighter, but a playwright, and this is the proper spelling of the word. So option C is the answer to this question. Question 57. Dash of his lateness, Okukbo gained from the coaching. A, despite, B, instead, C, in spite, D, in case. The answer to this question is option C, in spite. Okay, so we're looking for a preposition that appropriately fills that gap. So in this case, the preposition we're looking for is a preposition that expresses contrast. So in spite is better to fill in this gap. Despite and in spite are both prepositions that express contrast. But in this case, we're looking for something that will fill in that gap even when off is in that sentence. So in spite is the better option to fill in that gap. When you put despite, it becomes despite of his lateness. That is not grammatically accurate. But in spite of his lateness is grammatically accurate. So option C, in spite, is the answer to this question. Question 58. The man is not as powerful as he once was. His influence has considerably dashed. Option A, toppled. Option B, quelled. Option C, diminished. And option D, discarded. So the answer to this question is option C, diminished. Diminished is used to refer to something that reduces gradually. So that's the best option to fill in that gap. The word quelled might feel like the answer to that question, but it's important to note that quelled cannot be used in this particular context. You make use of quell when you are talking about someone who actively does something to reduce something. So that person must be the one performing the action. But in this case, it's not the person performing an action. It is the fact that the man is not powerful as he once was because his influence has diminished. So his influence is diminishing. He's not the one who is actually doing something to his influence. So you can't use quelled. Quelled is a more active word than diminished. So option C, diminished, is the answer to this question. Question 59. I can't lend him my books. I dash know him. Option A, often. Option B, seldom. Option C, rarely. And option D, scarcely. The answer to this question is option D, scarcely. We're looking for an adverb of degree to fill in that position because you're talking about how much you know a particular person. So scarcely is an adverb of degree. All the other adverbs given here are adverb of frequency. You can't use an adverb of frequency to describe how much you know someone. Often, seldom, rarely are adverbs of frequency. So the answer is option D, scarcely. Do you know you can take practice questions with our simulated JAMB CBT past question? All you need to do is to go down to the link in the description below. This takes you to the Myschool website where you can download the Myschool mobile app for your Android devices and the Myschool software for your laptops and computers. Please go ahead and start practicing. Now, questions 60 to 64 comes to the comprehension passage. So all you need to do is to go down to the link in the description below. This takes you to the Myschool website where you can access the comprehension passage, or you can pause the video as soon as the comprehension passage is displayed on your screen. Please do not forget that the aim of the comprehension passage is to read, to understand, to pinpoint the main ideas, and then get back to the questions. Now on to question 60. Honeybees have two characteristics similar to humans because A, they have both male and female sexes. B, they have a caste system and work for a living. C, they fight and die. And D, they are social and communicate with one another. So the answer to this question is option D. They are social and communicate with one another. And we can see this at the beginning of the passage. The honeybee includes a group of insects that in a broad sense comprises all bees that make honey. They are social insects and live together in hives. This means that just like human beings, they socialize with one another and they live together. Then the honeybee is remarkable for the dancing movement it performs in the hive to communicate information to its fellow bees about their location, distance, size, and the quality of a particular food source in the surrounding area. This shows that they communicate with one another, they communicate important information about their food source. Human beings do that as well. We communicate with one another. So this means that the characteristics that honeybees and human beings share are the fact that they are social and they communicate with one another. It may feel like option A, they have both male and female sexes, is the answer to this question. But it's important to note that those human beings and honeybees both have male and female sexes. The question is actually asking, what are those two characteristics that are similar to both humans and honeybees. They're talking about two characteristics, not just one. This is one characteristic. They have both male and female sexes. It's just one. So we are looking for an option that has two characteristics. So option D, they are social and communicate with one another, is the answer to this question. I believe you're enjoying this content. If yes, please don't forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and lastly tap on the notification bell to get informed as soon as we release the next videos. Question 61. According to the passage, it is not all honeybees that produce option A, eggs, option B, royal jelly, option C, honey, and option D, dance. So the answer to this question is option A, eggs. And we can see that in the passage, though we have to infer from the information that is given in the passage. It says the male or drones are larger than the workers and are present for about 8 weeks. We already understand that the male sex do not produce eggs. It is the female honeybees that actually produce eggs. So you can see the workers and queen have stingers, whereas the drones are stingless. The queen's unfertilized eggs develop into drones, whereas fertilized eggs develop into females. So we can see that it is only the queens who produce eggs in the honeybee colony. So all of this suggests that it is not all honeybees that produce eggs. Option A is the answer to this question. Question 62. Another word for the word destined according to the passage would be A, desired, B, stage managed, C, predetermined, and D, assumed. So the answer to this question is option C, predetermined. And again, we can infer that from the way it is used in the passage. So it says, eggs destined to become queens are deposited in queen cells. After hatching, the virgin queens are fed royal jelly. When not fed a diet consisting solely of royal jelly, virgin queens will develop into workers. All of this shows that beforehand, the honeybees decide which of the eggs will eventually hatch to become queens. You can see that even after they are hatched, they are fed with royal jelly, and if they are not fed with that, they do not become queens. They know what they were doing before they put the eggs into the queen cells. All of this suggests that it is predetermined beforehand. They've already determined that these are the eggs that will eventually become queens. So the answer to this question is option C, predetermined. Question 63. Apart from being royal, a queen can lose its royalty by becoming a worker through A, diet, B, association, C, cooperation, and D, the absence of a queen. The answer to this question is option A, diet, and again we can see that in the passage. After hatching, the virgin queens are fed royal jelly. When not fed a diet consisting solely of royal jelly, virgin queens will develop into workers. So this suggests that a queen can lose her royalty. That's the virgin queen that has just been hatched. It can lose its royalty if it is not fed royal jelly. So diet is a very important thing that helps to ensure that the queen becomes royal. So the answer to this question is option A, diet. Question 64. Which of the honeybees does not live long? Option A, queens, option B, workers, option C, drones, and option D, stingers. The answer to this question is option C, drones, and we can see that explicitly stated in the passage. The male or drones are larger than the workers and are present only for about 8 weeks. So this suggests that the drones do not live long. They are only there for about 8 weeks, after which they die off. So option C, drones, is the answer to this question. Question 65 to 74 comes with a language register passage. So I advise you once again to go down to the link in the description below. This takes you to the Myschool website where you can access the language register passage, or you can pause the video as soon as it is displayed on your screen. So do not forget that the aim of the language register passage is to read the passage, understand its main idea, and then get back to the questions. So let's begin with question 65. So choose the option that best fills the gap labeled 6. Option A, reserve catalog, option B, borrowers catalog, option C, dictionary catalog, and option D, title catalog. So the answer to this question is option D, title catalog, and we can see that by looking at the sentence to see the way in which it is used. If one is looking for a particular book, it can either use the dash or the dash to locate the position of the book on the dash. So we are talking about looking for a particular book, and if you are looking for a book, you need a catalog that contains the title of all the books in the library. So the title catalog is the best option to fill in this gap. Option D is the answer. Question 66. Choose the option that best fills the gap labeled 7. Option A, author catalog, option B, book catalog, option C, title catalog, and option D, yearly catalog. Again, from the sentence, if one is looking for a particular book, it can either use the title catalog or the dash to locate the position of the book on the dash. Again, we are looking for something that helps in looking for the location of a particular book. We've already mentioned title catalog for the gap labeled 6. So we're looking for something else that can help you to locate a particular book in a library. So it is the author catalog that can also help you. You already have the name of the author in mind. All you need to do is to go through the author catalog in order to find where that particular book is. There is no such thing as book catalog in a library or a yearly catalog. So option A, author catalog, is the answer to this question. Question 67. Choose the option that best fills the gap labeled 8. Option A, table. Option B, shelf. Option C, cupboard. And option D, desk. So the answer to this question is option B, shelf. Again, if you are looking for a particular book, you can either use the title catalog or the author catalog in order to locate the position of the book on the shelf. So in a library, the books are kept on the shelf. They are not kept on tables, cupboards, or on a desk. It is actually kept on a shelf in a library. So option B, shelf, is the answer to this question. Question 68. Choose the option that best fills the gap labeled 9. Option A, borrower mark. Option B, reserve mark. Option C, call mark. And option D, year mark. Again, we have to look at the sentence to see how it should be used in that sentence. Alright, so the sentence says this can be done through the dash identification number. So what should come before identification number is call mark. So a call mark identification number is the number that you can use to identify the location of a book in the shelf in the library. So it's a common terminology used to refer to the identification number that you can find on the spine of the book and also in the various catalogs that we have in the library. So a call mark identification number is what you need in order to find a book. Option C is the answer to this question. Question 69. Choose the option that best fills the gap labeled 10. Option A, subject catalog. Option B, publisher catalog. Option C, reference catalog. And option D, cover catalog. So the answer to this question is option A, subject catalog. And again, we can read through the sentence to see how it fits into that sentence. On the other hand, if the student has no particular book in mind but wants to borrow any on a particular subject, say mathematics, it can go to the dash. So if you are looking for information on a particular subject, you need a book on a particular subject, all you need to do is to go to the subject catalog. It's a catalog that contains a list of all the possible subjects that the library books are on. So option A, subject catalog, is the answer to this question. Do you have a question? Please feel free to ask your question by going down to the link in the description below. This takes you to the Myschool website where you can ask your question and the solution will be provided to you within a short period of time. Now on to question 70. So choose the option that best fills the gap labeled 11. Option A, book card. Option B, call card. Option C, author card. And option D, seller card. So the answer to this question is option B, call card. Again, we can look at the sentence to see how it is used. There it will find the dash of every book that deals with mathematics as a subject. So it is call card because in a call card, that's where you find the call mark identification number. That's the number you need to find the location of a particular book in the library. So call card is where you find that identification number. So option B, call card, is the answer to this question. Do you have a better explanation or solution to any of these questions? If you do, go down to the comment section below, indicate the question number and the solution you'd like to share. Question 71. Choose the option that best fills the gap labeled 12. Option A, cards guide. Option B, author's guide. Option C, shelf guides. And option D, books guides. So the answer to this question is option C, shelf guides. Again, we can look at the sentence. Apart from this, since all the shelves have instruction and numbers regarding the books on them, the person can read the dash and the book dash and so on and so forth. So this particular sentence, they are talking about another way in which you can find the location of a book. You can just go to the shelves because each of the shelves have instructions and numbers regarding the books. So since they're talking about shelves, information on a shelf, we're talking about a shelf guide. So the shelf guide is that thing that is pasted on the side of a shelf that indicates the call mark identification number for each of the books on the shelf. So this will help you to find the location of that particular book you're looking for. So option C, shelf guides, is the answer to this question. Question 72. Choose the option that best fills the gap labeled 13. Option A, acknowledgements. Option B, commentaries. Option C, titles. And option D, spines. Again, we have to look at the sentence. Apart from this, since all the shelves have instructions and numbers regarding the books on them, the person can read the shelf guides and the book dash to get the book he wants. So in this case, it has to be book spines. The spines of the books are that side of the book that you can see when it is placed on a shelf. So the spine of the book contains the call mark identification number. That's when you know exactly the book you are looking for. So that's another information that you need in order to find the location of a book. So option D, spines, is the answer to this question. Question 73. Choose the option that best fills the gap labeled 14. Option A, table. Option B, reserved section. Option C, sitting corner. And option D, lending desk. So the answer to this is option D, lending desk. Again, we can look at the sentence. He can take the book to the dash, where the library assistant removes the book card from the book dash and record the borrower's name on it. So this is the process that is involved when you want to borrow a book from the library. You have to go to the lending desk. That's where you see the library assistant who can help you in the process of borrowing that particular book. So option D, lending desk, is the answer to this question. Question 74. Choose the option that best fills the gap labeled 15. Option A, pocket. Option B, title. Option C, call name. And option D, reserve. So the answer to this question is option A, pocket. Again, we can look at the sentence in which it is used. You can take the book to the lending desk, where the library assistant removes the book card from the book dash and record the borrower's name on it. So in this case, we are talking about that part in the front of a book in a library where they put in the book card. So in that book card, that's where they record the borrower's name, so that you can put in the time in which he borrows the book and the time in which he returns the book to the library. So you can find all of that information on a book card, which is placed in the book pockets of a particular book borrowed from a library. So option A, pockets, is the answer to this question. Question 75. In each of the following questions, choose the option that has the same consonant sound as the one represented by the letters underlined. So the word is gap, and the P in gap is underlined. We have option A, pneumonia, option B, lack, option C, floor, and option D, pain. Now let's go to the board to transcribe the words. So for the word gap, the letter underlined is the P sound. So we have P here. Then option A says pneumonia. Okay, so we're focusing on this part of the word. And when you have two consonant letters like that in front, such as this one where we have PN, when we also have GN and we have KN, it is pronounced as N. And probably there might be other sounds attached to it, but it's mostly N. You do not pronounce the first letter in that letter cluster. So in this particular word, it's pronounced pneumonia. You have the N and the Y sound that is coming from here. So we have pneumonia. Then option B is pronounced lack. We have the N sound and the K sound. So you can see there's no P sound here. Then option C, we have floor. So we have the F and the L sound. So we have a consonant cluster there. Then option D is pronounced pain. So we have the P sound and the N sound as well. So considering this transcription, we can see that pain has that P sound that we can find in the word gap. So now let's go back to the screen to mark our answer. So from the transcription of the consonant sounds, you can see that option D, pain, is the answer to this question. I believe you're enjoying this content. If yes, please don't forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and lastly, tap on the notification bell to get informed as soon as we release the next videos.